like I said, I did a variety show, I did one acting class, and then I was in improv. I had very little experience, like informal training yet. You know what I mean?
So then you started to fall in love with this.
I fell in love with improv, which just made me like chase it forever. The idea of creating and writing on your feet was just mystical to me. And that led me into theater when I graduated, and I was doing psychology for the first couple years right out of college.
What were you doing in psychology?
I worked on an adolescent psych ward, Northwestern Hospital, with disturbed adolescents for 2 years. And I was taking like graduate school. I was thinking I was going to be a psychologist.
What was that like?
It was intense. It was really educational and intense. Like a lot of disturbed kids, a lot of medication that was like, you know, this is like 1989, let's say. So like early Ritalin and early Zoloft, and they're experimenting with drugs to get kids normalized. And then you'd see schizophrenia, or you'd see eating disorders, or you see kids with suicide, or you'd see like court-ordered gangbangers who's, you know, the judge says you can either go to psych eval or you can go to prison, juvie. And they're like, I'll go to psych eval. And then, you know, so you get every kind of population in there, wealthy, poor, public aid kids, you know, Rockefeller kids, essentially. Like, so you got everything in there. So it was fascinating, 100% something that was too challenging, that once I was exposed to it, I'm like, this is too hard.
It was too much for you?
Yeah.
You didn't want to do it anymore?
Because the responsibility of helping someone is too great. Like if you mess that up, they could kill themselves, or it could go really wrong. Like if you misdiagnose, if you don't get, because you saw it as, I was just like on the nursing staff as a mental health worker, kind of working my way up to like be a psychologist. I wasn't really doing treatment plans for anyone, but you process emotion with every kid and you try to treat them therapeutically. It's like a camp counselor vibe, you know?
It was draining.
So draining, because you're awash with pathology when you come home at the end of the day. So that I would do that during the day. And then at night I would go out and do comedy in bars.
Jesus,
so I had like 2 lives.
Yeah,
I had like I was living 2 days. It was crazy.
And what was the first time you felt like, I'm funny, I've got this, how many classes in, what happened where you felt like I've got to go full throttle, and what did you do?
The bug or the juice that hit me, or the crack, was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 classes into my first level 1 improv at Players Workshop. I ended up doing a scene with who became a friend of mine, this guy, Kevin Ervik. And we like sustained a 3-minute scene that made everyone in the class laugh. And it was as if we were able to finish each other's sentences. And it's as if we knew where the scene was going. And that to me was mind blowing. Like I couldn't imagine how that happened. And so I was chasing that. I was trying to understand how to do that again.
Right. And how many years later did UCB start?
UCB probably started loosely a couple years later, like in various incarnations. And then the 4 of us moved to New York. And
that was AMY
Poehler, Matt Besser, Ian Roberts, and myself.
Right.
And then we moved to New York in like 96.
In 96.
And then I met Michael.
And then
my life changed.
You met me. You met me in the office.
Yeah. I met you in the office, and you were like getting coffee for Dave Miner, I think, at the time.
I probably was. And these guys represent a lot of comedy studs now. Who are you with now?
I just have an agent. I don't have a manager anymore.
Yeah.
No.
Managers it's like, what do you need? You need a manager.
Do you have a manager?
No. But for years I had a manager 15%, an agent 10%, a publicist 5%, a lawyer 5%. It's like, what, am I making any money here?
I know. I don't have a manager, but I need an accountant. I'm terrible that way. And occasionally I get a publicist if I have to promote something.
Right.
And then an agent. You need an agent. You must have an agent.
I have an agent.
Yeah, you have to have an agent.